While the cameras focused on handshakes in Alaska, another was being fought, not with tanks or missiles, but with satellites, hackers, and agents working in the shadows. When Donald Trump welcomed Vladimir Putin to US soil, most people saw a diplomatic spectacle: red carpets, military flyovers, even a shared limousine ride. But behind the scenes, America's CIA and Russia's FSB were locked in a parallel contest, a contest for secrets, leverage, and influence. Tonight, we peel back the curtain. What was the CIA really watching during the summit? What did the FSB hope to achieve while Putin smiled for the cameras? And why do intelligence agencies often care more about the optics than even presidents do? Alaska meeting was historic. It was the first time Putin had stepped onto US soil since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The symbolism was unmistakable. Trump wanted to show boldness, Putin wanted legitimacy. Military jets roared overhead. B-2 stealth bombers cut across the sky. The cameras broadcast every handshake. On the surface, this was pageantry, but intelligence officers don't match summits the way we do. For them, every moment is an opportunity. Facial expressions, body language, who whispers into whose ear, all can be clues. For Moscow, the FSB would have been carefully analyzing how Trump treated Putin compared to other leaders, and whether cracks in the US alliance system were widening. For Washington, the CIA would have been assessing whether Putin showed signs of confidence, nervousness, or over preparation. Because summits are never just summits, they are also intelligence theaters. The CIA's watchful eye. In Alaska, the CIA had more to do than simply brief Trump. Their job was to monitor everything around Putin's arrival: his security team, his aircraft, his communications, any unusual electronic activity, any new faces in his entourage. Why? Because every foreign visit is a treasure trove. Phones can be intercepted, movements can be tracked. Even the way Russia guards set up security parameters can reveal operational habits. Behind the diplomatic smiles, surveillance planes orbited. US electronic eavesdropping stations in Alaska were on high alert. If Putin's team slipped up, even for a moment, the CIA could collect data that would be priceless later. In past summits, agencies have exploited hotel rooms, motorcades, and even gifts to gather intelligence. It's fair to assume Alaska was no different. For the CIA, the summit wasn't just politics, it was a golden opportunity. Of course, the Russians weren't passive. The FSB and Russia's Federal Protective Service, known as the FSO, came prepared. Their job wasn't only to protect Putin's life, it was to protect his secrets. That meant shielding communications, jamming signals, sweeping hotel suites for bugs, and controlling every environment their president entered. But there's another layer. Whenever Putin travels, the FSB often uses the occasion to run its own intelligence operations. Think about it. Dozens of Russian officials, diplomats, and support staff suddenly land in a foreign city. Within that cover, some are intelligence operatives. They can map US security responses, probe local networks, and maybe even test cyber intrusions while the world is distracted by the spectacle. Just as the CIA was watching them, the FSB was almost certainly watching back. So while news anchors debated handshakes, intelligence agencies measured success in a different currency. For the CIA, victory might have meant intercepting an encrypted call between Russian aides, or quietly photographing a new face in Putin's circle, later identified as a rising FSB officer. For the FSB, victory could mean smuggling out details of US security protocols or quietly probing how the CIA deployed resources around the summit. Summits like this are less about the words spoken and more about the moves unseen. The world gets a press conference, the agencies get intel that may shape strategy for years. This is why some analysts call diplomacy the stage play and intelligence the real script. You might ask, why does the shadow battle matter if no formal deal was reached? Because in geopolitics, perception can be as valuable as policy. Putin left Alaska with global attention. Even without a breakthrough, he projected himself as a player welcomed in Washington again. For the FSB, That's a psychological win. For the CIA, the summit was a live fire exercise, a test of how Russia's operatives abroad, and a chance to collect insights for future confrontations. And for the world, it's a reminder that beneath every handshake between leaders, there's a duel between spies, hidden, relentless, and often decisive than the leaders themselves. The Alaska summit will be remembered for its images: red carpets, jets in the sky, and two leaders smiling. But history may judge it differently, as a moment when CIA and FSB played a deeper game, far away from the cameras, because in the end, diplomacy may set the stage, but intelligence writes the script.